The best of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. Today, I want to talk about hope. Hope arises in the context of some situation that does not look hopeful. It's not in a vacuum. Every now and again, a viewer asks a question that leads me to refer to the purpose of these broadcasts, which I laid out in my very first episode. I urge you to go watch my first episode if you've never viewed it. It's immensely important, if I may say so myself. I say there that although I'm a Christian and a Christian leader, these broadcasts recognize that all people live by faith of one kind or another, whether religious or irreligious, and what I call either reflexive faith or reflective faith. I don't consider my viewership to be a church, and my weekly monologues aren't meant to be sermons. Nevertheless, my perspectives and worldview are driven by my faith, which for me is not about sitting about waiting for heaven when I die, but which places upon me an urgent imperative to make a difference in the world as I try to imitate the life and teachings of Jesus as captured by other people in the faith and in the Gospels. My faith does not render other people to me as evangelical targets or candidates for conversion or recipients of my angry self-righteousness. But it does remind me that all of these people are my neighbors in the world, and that wherever possible, we together as human siblings in this world ought to strive to make it better. In that pursuit, then, my faith propels me to see possibilities beyond the current realities that surround me. And that's the point about hope. Hope does not begin with those possibilities in the future. It begins with the current miserable realities in the present. Hope does not mean that I ignore or deny the facts that I live in the midst of the miserable. Hope does not bury its head in the sand or pretend that all is well. Hope does not require ditching meaningful and thorough assessment of current realities so as to imagine a better future. The 24-hour news cycle has become traumatic for many, only reminding them that they live in a miserable world in which power is cherished more than human siblings. For that power, some lie, cheat, steal, and kill, and even create immoral and dangerous laws and remove good laws so as to serve only those who wish to protect the power, the privilege, and patrimony they have stolen from everybody else. It's wicked. Hope that exists in some vacuum that ignores, disregards, or denies the rough realities of the present is a defective hope that cannot take meaningful shape or adopt effective components. That hope shall be stillborn. Feasible and realistic hope, however, must involve first your imagination, then your cooperation, and ultimately your participation in enabling or partnering with other people and with God to make it all happen. It must then be a hope that is informed by your current realities so that you may know from the intelligence of the present what is required of the future. And so that hope takes the shape of that future based on the ills of the present. You must bring about that transformation then based on your vision of the future and deliver it to your children if you don't claim it yourself. It is hope that is at the heart of the Advent season that Christians now observe and which will give way to Christmas in a few weeks. Many books are written about hope, but one stands out more than others at this time. It was written by an innocent and non-violent man who was exiled and imprisoned on a barren island with no development, no shelter, no provisions, and left to die of exposure or attack by prisoners who were there, who were violent. The chief political operative was drunk with power, and that world power and its government were corrupt, power abusing, and people abusing, and brutal. That world power appeared to be strong, but this man, a political prisoner, could see that it was all on its way out. He did not evade news of the vileness of his time, and he was very familiar with the details. But that man saw new things. He saw a new country, a new civilization, a new city, a new peace, and a new joy. and indeed a new heaven and a new earth. I put it to you that John was so specific in what he saw and recorded in the book of Revelation as a hope toward which we now in the 21st century must continue to work, only because John adequately assessed the badness he saw in his time, which gave shape to the particulars of the hope he could now vividly see and which we now should be able to grasp. I encourage you then, while living in the midst of badness and oldness, not to ignore it all, but to analyze it, not to dwell on it, but to let it propel you to imagining not only what the future needs, but what it should be like, and how you can partner with others and with God to bring it about soon. I am Michael Friday, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Advent and happy Monday all the way to Friday.